everybody. We are back again with the Stone DN. We did get to play another session last night. A lot of fun. And we are gearing up for what is to be our Halloween party. Gonna be a lot of fun. Some people got some really cool ideas for that. And then I was thinking of this game that we could play that I kind of developed off of it's kind of like the Chainsaw Massacre game, but it's kind of like a hide and seek that you can play. And it's like one person's the killer, and the people who are hiding are the victims who are potentially trying to get through the death house is what we're going to potentially run it in. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. The people's house that we play at have a ton of other regular board games and stuff like that. And then there's going to be a bunch of food and stuff, so who knows what we're really going to get into, but we're definitely going to be having a night, and that's a lot of fun getting ready for. But the adventure has reached a certain point now where we were last night, because we are in the town of Fort Runoft, and they were dealing with a bad sheriff, Sheriff Not Ingham. He had grown a bit greedy and has, kind of taken a lot of the money for the town for himself, but he sent our heroes to court, and they showed up early and met him in a tavern, and that's where we kicked off. And the tavern, now belonging to one of the players, well, not now, but like soon to be, gave them a bit of an edge in the argument, so that was a lot of fun. But also, they really handled it well with this scenario. They could have just tried to kill the sheriff, and they chose a little bit more of a diplomatic path, and we kind of pushed the story along and kind of opened up some potential for different things in the world. But what I wanted to kind of get out today was just the expression of like how far the people have come at our table, because I know I've said it before, but we are all still very new to this game, and it is it's a lot of fun watching them progress in the game and as role players and really fall into who these characters are. I think that was session 12 maybe of our homebrew world, and it was like maybe our fourth session or fifth even in the town. So that was a lot of fun, and they have found a lot of different things in the world. So they well, not in the world, but in this little area that they have grown interest in, and just watching them evolve as players and learn how to interact with the world as the character themselves, depending on like who they're playing, because these guys are also really good at switching that on and off with the different characters that they may play, because we have done several campaigns now, and everyone has had a chance to play different types of players, and I feel like everyone really embraces that opportunity. And now, kind of knowing who these characters could be and what they might get into, it's a lot more fun to sit back and watch and see how they handle the situations of the world without just rolling to hit and looking to kill, and like they're they're really settling into the world being a real thing, and their decisions having potential future consequences, or consequences. I mean, it's really the only word that I like have used so far, but it's not the technical word that I'm meaning to use a lot of times, because consequences imply a bit of bad, and there's no bad. Well, not there is no bad, but there's not a lot of bad with what these guys have. Not with what these guys. There's not a lot of bad that comes as a consequence a lot of the times. For me, a lot of times it could be a positive that comes out of it, so it's not technically a consequence, it's more of a reward. But I mean, I guess there's no, well, I guess there is a, stipulation, whatever the word consequence technically means. Um but watching these guys progress and really feel the weight of the world is what I'm trying to say. Is a lot of fun, and just seeing how much better they get at it. Just even every time we sit down, and the more that they understand the game and the people they're playing or the world we're in, they just keep progressing as players. And I can't shout that out enough. It's just so much fun watching them role play. We have gotten to a point to where they are about to move on from this location, so I have to really focus on how I want my travel to look. I have a little bit of a way now, but that could get repetitive again. Like I talked about before, I have to be able to make the scenarios to where it's not going to be. So right now, I just really need to sit down and focus on what types of possibilities could happen in between here and there. And then I also have to let the players decide what may be the most important thing to handle in the moment. Because you're not going to be able to solve every problem, but also some problems absolutely need to be solved. So, like, are you going to have a priority list? Are you going to take everything one thing at a time and come, back? Is that going to be a possibility depending on the extremities of the circumstances? And a lot of that's up to me to make sure that I'm giving them a good balance of things that can be handled fairly quickly, in a single day, in a single session, or like a single travel sequence. But I also have to give them circumstances that are heavy, like that have a lot of meaning to the world, and that way they have to they have to run into a bit of a dilemma with themselves of what is most important to the party or to the individual, because you don't have to act as a party either. So in some things the party's gonna have an opinion on, but your opinion of the opposite thing may be too strong for the individual person, and how they play that could be a lot of fun. Because, like, sure, as a accommodating player sitting at a table, if the majority of the group wants to do a specific thing, like, obviously most of the time you're just going to go with it. However, if they have if they have a deep personal attachment or desire to this other thing, do they have the skills to act on it? But also, do they have the amount of selfishness that may be needed to actually take that moment into their hands? A lot of people aren't going to, because you are at a table with people and you do want to be accommodating to the group to make sure things stay fun for everybody. However, sometimes taking those personal chances and, desires is important in order to fortify the group, to make sure that you guys stay on the same page and come together. Nose itches. Every time I start recording or something like that, my nose itches. It's a pretty common thing. But so, like, where they're at right now, they have an entity that they have learned some about, that may or may not be a massive problem for the time that they're gone, to discover a way to potentially stop this thing. If it's even real. Like, that's the other problem too. Like, so I have to also determine how long they may be gone and what that means for the thing that they left behind. And also what other occurrences in the world may be beholden to them, maybe drawing their attention, maybe something that comes up. Or, like, what if they just want to do something different? Like, all of those things are potentials, and I need to be ready for it. I also need to have situations ready for them to just stay completely on path and, determined to get this situation handled, because the entity has thoroughly threatened a lot of the well-being of the residents of this town that they have now grown to be quite a big part of. But also, the town kind of has seen them to be reliable as well. So as important as they have, or as much as they have grown to like the town has grown to really like them too. And granted, it is a hunter village, so they're used to people coming and going. They do enjoy the people returning and helping. Ooh! Oh, he dropped it. Oh man, I got the game on too. Rams, Vikings. I thought the Vikings were gonna stomp the Rams, but the Rams are staying in it. Um, Go to my other channel, Fat Eddie. We do game picks, and we do Monday morning meetings. But here on the Stone DM, we talk D&D. Crazily, obviously. But oh, that's a lot. I think they was dragging something. Pretty sure they just blew the stop sign down the road too. Uh, but so I have to learn how to balance situations' gravities and how much they may influence the world and how much they might actually impact the players too. Because as they grow relationships with these places and peoples, those things are going to come up and those things are going to matter. Um, and I also have to be not afraid to let giant, impactful things happen while they're, off doing whatever it is they're doing. However, one thing I do fear is like some sort of like conflict between cities at the moment, because I don't want any kind of like regime interferences or problems. Like, oh, he got both feet down on that one. Puka Nuku is that dog. I don't even really like the Rams, but that kid's good. Him and Cup, good team. um, so that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of experience for me, and I really enjoy that kind of stuff. Creating scenarios and seeing how they're going to handle them. and making sure that I myself could see different possibilities of ways to solve these, and that way I know when I present it to the players in the situation, they're going to have a completely different way to handle it than what I had found. However, it is going to be, a scenario that I had potentially allowed room to develop, even if I may not, you know what they're going to do. I try to create my situations where there are multiple outcome possibilities. Again, there are going to be some times where there's only one outcome, depending on dialogue choices and roles. Like this time we had a good role on top of some fantastic dialogue, and I try not to be a stickler for actual dialogue because I myself am terrible with words. If you don't know that, you will learn it. So I'm pretty bad with words. So like I can't be a stickler about somebody not having great word choices in the moment. I have to allow the roles to be the main determining factor in outcome possibility. However, if you do well with the dialogue, I can, reward that and allow that to help the role a little bit, Um, and like that's not something I would ever punish people for. Um, that would strictly just be like a reward based scenario. And even then that would really only be to like encourage a little bit more thought into the characters and stuff. But we're all adults, so it don't really matter to me as long as the role says you accomplish something. And then there's different levels to accomplishment. Like say you need a 14 to beat it and you get a 14, you are gonna get like baseline. But if you need a 14 to beat it and you get a 22, you might get everything this guy knows. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get the information you need as long as you succeed. But like if you super succeed that roll, you're gonna get a little bit more. However, let's say you roll a 14 and you're asking a question and then you speak like you rolled like a 22. Go back to that number. I might give you as if you rolled like an 18, 19. You know what I mean? Because like you got the win. You successfully rolled the correct number, but you also allowed yourself to be in that character for the moment to where you really reminded me that you weren't being you were being something in the game and you were taking the game seriously. Like, but I also don't want people to feel beholden to having to play their character and like do good things to get reward. Like, just have fun. That's why we're here. That's why we all want to play this game. So like, if that's fun for you, like great. But also, if someone's an actor, I can't just give them a bunch of rewards because the person they're sitting next to is not an actor and they're playing the game to the best of their abilities, but they're not in character with a voice consistently making choices and stuff as that person in the moment. But like as far as us being just regular people in a hobby, that stuff is fun to reward to let people feel a little bit more freely with it. And that's why like when I play when I have my characters, I'm not great at voices. I don't have a lot of them to range from, but I do enjoy trying to give each of them a different type of voice. However, most of my voices will always come back to country because like I can kind of do a country accent, like but so a lot of them will revert back to that. I want to try and do like a different regional type accent. So like when they go to a different area from where they are now, I want to try and give that area like a different type of voice, or like a regal esque voice instead of like a, you know, hillbilly country folk like slang talking. But I'm also not good at words, so like I'd probably fuck up a lot of the words that I'm trying to use, but it would still probably be fun, especially if the character that I'm doing isn't like smart and the word fuck ups are like caught by the players and they're like, you know, maybe it's like a role play situation where they try and like correct things or like, help the play or help the NPC, and maybe that creates a relationship. You know, who knows how that works. There's so many just open possibilities to the game itself, especially when you just fall in and just start doing like role play things like. And then, as long as everyone at the table is kind of there with like the same like the same mindset and the same goals, not like personal individual character goals, but like table goals, and everyone's just there to make sure, you know, we all just have fun, get some good laughs, tell a good story. Because like right now we got some really like hard moments in this game. We got some difficult choices, and everyone's, you know, handling things quite well, and like the really fun part is like we are just creating all of this ourselves. We've played a couple modules, and then I homebrewed this world, and I took their things, and I'm still taking their things, and we're uh we're all just really working together and telling what is turning out to be quite the tale. Honestly, like I would probably find this in a, not like a novel, but like a short story, like really fun. And obviously, like, you know, the characters would have a lot more like involvement in something like that, but like the way they're handling these situations, and the stuff that they're bringing to the table as far as like the sequences, and the way they're handling the combats that pop up, and it's just a lot of fun. So I'm trying to learn how to balance, you know, rewards and consequences, uh, as well as, you know, letting the story develop while these things happen, and kind of just like let people get more freely into the game and just be more in character and just have a little bit more fun with the choices that they make, and maybe a little more chaotic even depending on like what their character might do. um, I'm really interested in potentially adding another day at some point, or running a whole nother game with a different group. Uh, I'm not entirely sure I'm at that point yet, but I think I'm really interested. But I think I need to get better at some like the online things. Did he just catch that? Did he just juggle catch that? Jefferson is a monster. There's no way. Yeah, run a play quick. Who knows if he caught that or not? Because that's like, I think he did. I think he got both feet down and everything. Oh, damn. Anyway. So I need to get better at doing like you know, scenario creating, and helping them with like a reward possibility, and then consequences of the world and the decisions they may or may not make in the moment. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially like I said with where they left now with this potential threat, having uh, openly told them the things that could happen, um, and them, you know, needing to find a solution, and the only solution being potentially not close. Um, So they needed to make a decision of, how to handle what they got going on, and I need to ensure that I scale out the potential time that they are going to be gone, and the potential things that could happen during that time. And that's going to be a lot of fun figuring out. But then also like other worldly things that could come up and priorities. But I need to make sure to not make every single thing that comes across their path or to their attention. I need to make sure that all of it isn't super dire that needs to be handled right now. And you got 4 or 5 of those choices, and it's immediate danger. Like, that's unfair. You can't do that unless the scenario is right next, like literally look right here. Hey, at 5 feet away there is super demon lord killing entire town now. Like, it would be completely unfair to have them traverse all over this land that I told them is giant and dangerous, to have to solve all these immediate situations. Like, I'd punch me in the face, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I need to ensure that I give them missions that could be immediately dire, to have them have to choose and but also situations that are along the way and solvable rather quickly. That way it's not taking up all of their time, and they're still progressing to get the immediate danger handled while they're helping different things along the way. And that'll come with me being able to present better scenarios during travel. So this time their travel is going to potentially be like 2.5 weeks, as long as there's no storms or anything like that along the way. So that's a lot of time. That's a lot of travel. We've been doing somewhat day by day up until this point, and with how I've developed the world, I almost need to do it day by day, because like my main thing is the world is so dangerous. The cities have taken so long to develop. Well, not so long, but like the cities take so much time and energy to develop that conflict between cities is non-existent at this moment, and trade between cities is quite difficult. So like I need to ensure that I keep that up while not making it repetitive, and while not also just killing everybody. However, I did listen to this was actually a joke, because I talked about how I had heard on YouTube, DM said something about killing the party or something is good for people, and one of the players said that they were going to make a YouTube video talking about how you have to be nice to all the players. So that way I hear that and believe it. But shout out to Do or Die here on YouTube. Go check them out. Watch them play some Silent Hill. They're great people. But I did hear someone talk about how, if your world is dangerous, and most worlds obviously are, being in the realm of fantasy and endless possibility, you need to allow your players to see these threats early. Whether, the situation occurs for them to be involved or not, they need to see the potential of this, I can't remember the name of it. Tarrasque, one of those that you got to be like level 20 to go fight, or probably level 15, but whatever. A giant Tarrasque. wandering the countryside or whatever. Like you need to present these difficulties for the players to have a little bit of encouragement to, one, take caution, and things to look forward to that they could potentially fight throughout the world as they progress and cause more problems and just become more known. So we're getting into a lot of fun things. We are giving a potential new player a shot. So the dynamic of the table is going to change a little bit, and we're going to test out having another person at the table and how that works with what we already have. Because, like, sometimes we can get well into role play and it might take some time, but now having 5 player characters, is everyone going to be able to get enough time? Are it are ever is everyone going to be okay with being involved in someone else's storyline more than theirs? Because, like, right now, Bubo, why did I say it like that? That was rude. Bubo. I love Bubo. I don't know if I can say Bubo without saying Bubo. Fuck. But right now, Bubo is our, like, potential mainest character. However, we do have things for the other characters. They just have been so interested in what has happened in Fort Runoff that has taken precedence over what was potentially one of our bigger things, and that was finding out Bubo. But right now it's like we need to fix this place, but we can also get answers because somehow the thing, or the person who potentially raised Bubo, is like a big factor in some of the things that could or could not come up. So, like, they could get some answers about some things while they're potentially solving the problem here. And, like, that's a lot of fun. That's really cool. As long as, obviously everyone is okay with, being a main character, but in a side role at the moment. Because, their things are there and they're real and they're precedent. However, they have chosen to follow in the steps of this other thing. So I am so bad at talking because I don't want to reveal anything. So I just call everything a thing or, like, stuff, and that's not very helpful. I guess I should probably open up a little bit more about that kind of thing, and be a little bit more expressive. However, again, I don't want to, like, spoil anything, and I don't want, like, things to come up. But you can watch us. We're All Bear Crew over on YouTube. If you're the bingey kind of person and you like playthroughs, we got a few different games that we have played. You can watch those and catch up to where we are now. We have been doing this complete homebrew thing, and we have Aurelia, the Sun Elf. We have Lothian, the Pale Elf, and they both have a story that is progressing while things are happening right now. And some of it Lothian can potentially learn also while we are getting this Fort Runoff stuff done. So we have a lot of possibilities for different options of different missions. And then we also have Charlie, our Dragonborn. He's a monk. And there are some clues of some things that could potentially come up for a story with him. He's kind of just, like, trying to get through this stuff, and he's our lucky player. He has walked himself into owning a business. He has a potential job with Dennis, another potential dragonborn who claims to have been one of uh, Noken's hatched eggs, which is like a really important thing in the world because Noken was the legendary dragon who may or may not have flew up and became the second moon that traverses, or well, not traverse, that rotates around the main moon, because we have two moons. We have one big one and a little one that goes around like a cock. But that one is believed to be Noken, the legendary dragon, and some of his eggs, still up to this point, have yet to hatch. Well, you know, Dennis says that he was the last one, and there is the legend of the lost stone egg, because it has, you know, taken so long to hatch that it turned to stone. But that's still a thing that they have yet to really get into, but he's got a job with those people. He owns, you know, the Hang and Drain, which is the tavern of Fort Runoft, and yeah. So then we got Bubo, who is an owlin, and she seems to be the only bird folk in the entire country. No one has ever seen anything like her, and she keeps getting called a dog, but she is an owlin, and she's a druid. So her magic is also very rare in the world. I had picked all of this before I knew Bubo was going to be the main character. And then Bubo is also raised by a wizard, and one of my ancient stories is of a supreme wizard who you know, traversed the land and helped shape most of it. It's not the one that she's raised by, but he just so happens to be looking for it. So she is involved in she's involved in the wizard hunt, which I didn't think anyone was going to be into, but like her backstory just led to it. And then she picked druid, and druid in my world, because in the book it says that druids are pretty rare, so I made them rare in my world, gave them their own little village. Well, not all druids are there, but go at there is pretty much all druids. Like and then that's like you have to go there to get your druid efficiency training, because like your magic is rare and wild, so like no one really understands it, and unless you get, you know, just a bunch of experience yourself with it, like you don't understand it either. You just know you have this magic, so you go to the druid sanctuary and you know, get told all about potential things. Druid. And then Lothian is a pale elf, and pale elves are extraordinarily rare amongst the race of elves, and the sun elves are our elves of the world, and there's only like 175 of them total, and they're super rare in the world, but pale elves are even more rare, and Bubo's wizard just so happens to also be a pale elf, who may be the only other one besides now Lothian to be living. And then Aurelia is the heir to the throne of the elves, and she needs to go out and get experience in the world, and she went for her adventure license, and now she's gone rogue. So like, what does that mean? And how does that impact her? But also, like, what is happening back home? So we got a lot of things that are in the works and coming around, and it's really taken shape, and the story's so much fun at this point. Like, and they're really letting it develop, and I can't wait to write some of these things out, to see how they handle some of the things that are coming up, and just let them experience the things that are happening and watch them play through it. Like I can't say it enough. It's going to be so much fun to watch and experience. And these guys have really developed well as players, and they're still gaining ground. Um, so let me know if you guys find any monsters or any types of scenarios that you guys want to see down in the bottom. Um, but thanks for hanging out. Pass it around, and I tell you what, man, don't forget to smile.